Hello there. In this video, I'll show you how to replace the radiator cooling fan in a Nissan Micra K11. This is a relatively simple job that can be done at home, and all we need is a few basic tools. Hopefully not this one though. Welcome to CarSpyTV. Right. Step 1 is to leave the engine turned off for several hours to let heat and pressure dissipate from the cooling system. This minimises the risk of getting burnt. Next, open the bonnet so we can see the radiator, which is that thing there, and the fan on the back of the radiator, which is down there. And the next step is to remove the upper radiator hose, which is that thing there. Removing the upper hose gives us more space to lift the fan out of the car, but it also means that some coolant will escape from the radiator, so we'll catch what we can of that in these paper cups. To remove the hose, we first need to undo this metal clip, and as that's rusty, we're going to give it a squirt of GT85 to encourage it to move. And now we need to grab a large Phillips screwdriver, loosen off the clip, and mercifully it is undoing easily. Thanks in part to the GT85, and now that's loose, we can give the hose a pull and a twist, and this is when we're going to lose some coolant, and hopefully we'll catch a decent percentage, I'll try that again, a decent percentage of it in the cup below. Here we are. We've made a good start, things are going well. We now need to remove the electrical connector which powers the fan, and we can find that just down there. To remove the connector, press in this tab on the side. See that? So we'll press that in and hold it, and then the connector, with a little bit of wiggling, comes apart. Just like that. Now, if we look at the wire that springs out the back of the electrical connector, we can see that it's held to the fan via that plastic clip there. And if we follow the wire back further, we find a second retaining clip down there. These clips need to be undone. This is clip number 1, which we'll pry open with a screwdriver and then release the cable like so. And here's clip number 2. We now need to undo 2 bolts at the top of the fan. I'll show you where they are. Bolt number 1 is there, and bolt number 2 is all the way over here. And to undo those bolts, we need a large Phillips screwdriver. There's number 1, and here is bolt number 2. And they're both going to sit in this magnetic parts tray, because otherwise I would definitely lose them. It's guaranteed. Okay, the fan is now free in the car. I shall show you. So we can see it down there, completely disconnected and wobbling around, but we don't have space to lift it out the engine bay. So to make space, we're going to loosen but not remove this metal bar that starts there and goes all the way to there. And this bar is held in place by 2 bolts on this side, and as we might expect, 2 more bolts there. To undo these bolts, we need a 10mm socket, a common size on this car. It also helps to put the ratchet in reverse. That makes life a lot easier. Now, although you didn't see me do it, I have also lubricated these bolts with GT85 to make them come out a little easier. All 4 bolts have now been removed, and that means if we look back at the car, that we can grab the bar at this end and pull it upwards, and that will release this mounting point here that holds the top of the radiator in place. So let's have a go at that. Yeah, there we go. And the bar, as we can see, is now wobbling around quite substantially, and that gives us a bit more space to move the radiator out the way and lift the fan out the car. So let's have a go at that. And of course we want to be gentle here. We don't want to put too much force on this bar and damage anything. But with a little bit of patience and a little bit of jiggery pokery, we can remove the fan from the engine bay. Come on now. Out you come. Nearly there. Okay. What's that snagged on? Oh, I see. There we are. All sorted. Right, we can now fit the replacement fan, but there are a couple of points to bear in mind. Number 1, if the replacement fan is second-hand, it's worth giving the electrical connector a squirt of contact cleaner, just like that. And while we're at it, we'll do the same for the other end of the connector in the car. We also need to bear in mind that at the bottom of the fan down here, we have a plastic peg. There it is. And that peg needs to sit in a hole at the bottom of the radiator, which we can see all the way down there. Here's the close-up. The next few stages of this job are the reverse of what I've already shown you. So we need to slide the fan back into the car, then replace the bolts, the upper radiator hose and the electrical connector. Right. The car's now back together, but there's one more thing we need to do. Specifically, we need to replace the coolant that we lost earlier when we removed the upper radiator hose. And to do that, we're simply going to take the cap off the radiator. But remember, only do this if the engine's stone cold, otherwise you're going to get burnt. And that's no fun. Now we can just pour the coolant back into the radiator. Something like that. I've got a bit more to top up as well, but you get the idea. I now have an important question for you, which is, how many legs is a camera tripod supposed to have? Well, you might think 1, 2, 3, and I used to think that as well, But apparently these days 3 legs is considered decadent and excessive, and we only need 2. The world's changing fast. Anyway, that's it. But before you go, don't forget to subscribe to CarSpyTV. That makes it easier to find my other content. Can you also please do me a favour and click like on this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.